Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report, episode 247, titled Big Test Against the Colorado Avalanche. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios here in beautiful New Jersey, in the bunker, as the Devils will take on the Colorado Avalanche. Friday night action at the Rock. It's going to be a big test, folks. It's going to be a big test. And the Devils have a couple injuries to report. Mackenzie Blackwood apparently has an upper body injury, did not practice today. Okay. Andre Palat, lower body injury. Okay. But so does the Colorado Avalanche. They've got several injuries. Gabriel Landeskog. And you always use these games, especially when they are the Stanley Cup champions, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Colorado Avalanche. You kind of use these games as kind of a litmus test, where your team's at. And for the entire season, because the Colorado Avalanche is, well, they are the Stanley Cup champions, they get tested every night as teams try to see how they do against them, even though that was last season that they were Stanley Cup champions. And you know what? They're a well-coached team. Anthony LaPena says, Happy Devils Thursday, Sam. Mike Rossi says, Happy Devils Thursday. And was it them or the Lightning we scored 7 on last year? Well, they scored a lot of goals against the Colorado Avalanche last season at the Rock. Matter of fact, the Devils pulled off the upset. Great game last season. And Steve Tardis says LGD. And you know what? It's one of these building blocks for this young New Jersey Devils team. Jesper Bratt is making headlines with the production. 3 goals, 9 assists. And Jack Hughes had a goal last game. How the Devils responded after that debacle against the Washington Capitals. What did they do? They beat the Red Wings. I mean, they literally beat the Red Wings. Like, they beat them down into submission. Red Wings took a 1-0 lead, but you know what? Devils said, hold my beer. We got some work to do. Steve Tardis thinks that Zetterlund and Holtz, with Palat likely out for a while. That's a shame. But you know what? I think Palat has already made an impact already. Even if he's out hurt, this team can still carry the torch. He showed them the path, how to get out of a slump. Devils 0-2. Then down 2-0 against who did they play? Crap, I don't even remember. The Ducks. And guess what happened? After Plot's goal, then the Devils went on a tear. Sometimes it's a confidence issue, folks. Confidence. One of the most underrated thing in hockey when you have momentum and confidence. If they could put a metric on that, all you stat people, all you analytics folks, if you could put a metric on emotion and you could put a metric on confidence, that should factor into your predictability of what the team's going to do, because hockey is an emotional game. And you can't take the emotion out of the game, but how do you quantify it? And a guy like Palat gets $6 million a year because he helps his team. He showed them the path, and he led by example. Hopefully Nico Hischier, who has been on a tear, Jack Hughes, he may be starting to heat up, will follow in his footsteps, knowing that the team should never give up, no matter what. And that's what the Devils brand should be. That we are going to be one tough customer, just the way Jersey is. Right? One tough customer. That you're just not going to take anybody's crap. Even if you're the reigning Stanley Cup champions. And I'm still mad about 2001 against the Colorado Avalanche. Still think that it was rigged for Ray Bourque. The Devils had one of the best teams of all time in their franchise on that 2001 Stanley Cup playoffs. And Ramona Rice says, "Let's go Devils." Well, hello to you, Ramona Rice. But I think the Devils need to really focus one game at a time. Injuries are part of the game. And that's part of the challenge. But you still have Jack Hughes and you still have Nico Hischier. You still have Vanacek if Mackenzie Blackwood can't go tomorrow. You still have a great defense or great players on defense like Dougie Hamilton. John Marino. Has he impressed you, John Marino? John Marino has been pretty good. Very consistent. He is an offensive, I wouldn't say he's offensive, but he's got more offense than Siegenthaler. But he can play defense and he can skate. But the best of them. Kind of reminds me like a poor man's Brian Rafalski a little bit. Very complimentary. Bajagaloop says, up all. Anthony says the Devils need to go after Colorado physical. Be physical with them, I guess. Knock them off their game, and the goaltending is going to have to turn it up. Colorado's still a good team. Despite their injuries, they're still a very good team. And not a team to be taken lightly. Also, Boston Bruins, I think Brad Marchand is coming back sooner than expected. And Boston's been tearing it up. And, little around the league talk. The Rangers. The New York Rangers. The New York Rangers. 4-game losing streak. Losing to the Islanders last night. I asked Short Sky's girlfriend if she could get me those socks. Those Dennis Potvin socks. You know what I'm talking about? When Ranger fans, they sing they do the chant, the Potvin sucks chant. And Dennis Potvin hasn't tormented them on the ice in so many years, but they just still chant it at Madison Square Garden. It's kind of pathetic, but it goes something like this. Potvin sucks. Well, Dennis Potvin, who I think is a god, by the way. Anytime I'm at a Devils Rangers game, I always yell that out. Dennis Potvin's a god! And all those Ranger fans, they turn around. It's like, get over it. The guy hasn't put on skates against you guys in 40 years, I guess. Well, he came out with some socks. Potvin socks. Making fun of the Potvin socks. I thought that was pretty cool. They were selling that at the arena yesterday. I asked Short Sky's girlfriend to get me one, but they were already sold out. I love Dennis Potvin, by the way. He's a pretty cool guy. Very nice guy. Like some of those Islander players of the past before New Jersey came. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But Rangers losing 4 straight. Let me tell you. The Rangers losing 4 straight tells you that elite goaltending, if you don't have a team around elite goaltending, it's not sustainable to just keep on stopping every single shot that comes at you. Eventually, you'll return back to normal. And maybe the Rangers aren't that good. Maybe just Shesterkin had just one of those seasons where he was lights out. But now, he's come back to reality. It's also nice to know that the Colorado Avalanche, Georgie V, right? Remember that goalie, Georgie V? I used to call him last year. Well, he got revenge on his old teammates. And you never know if he was the better goaltender. Just Shesterkin had just a great season last season. But it's unsustainable. You still have to play team defense. You still have to have a good offense. Puck possession is key. Protecting the puck is key. Winning the battles in the corners is key. Not turning over the puck in the neutral zone, especially during a tie game or you're down by a goal, is key. But yeah, so Evan says Marchand is in tonight. That's good to hear. Excuse me. Anyway, so I think that the Rangers may have come back to earth, which gives the Devils some life. But, anyway. Sunday's game, which, also I know we're talking about the Colorado Avalanche being the big test, but against the BJs, guess who's coming into town? Johnny Gaudreau. You would think that he would get some boos from the crowd for ghosting Tom Fitzgerald, but I think the reality is I don't think Gaudreau would have been a great fit aside from being on paper, but I'd rather have Palat and Marino. Tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, I would totally have Palat and Marino over Gaudreau because it takes a team to win the Stanley Cup. The Devils have holes to fill. They got a great veteran with championship experience. John Marino is turning out to be a pretty good defenseman for the New Jersey Devils, which they are loaded with D guys, blue liners. Ramona Rice says, I hope Bratt scores 2 goals again tomorrow. Yes, and we're going to celebrate Jesper Bratt. Ramona, I'm going to tell you, we are going to celebrate Jesper Bratt because on November 12th, Game Day Live and Devils After Dark will be back at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Devil's Den Prudential Center, next to Championship Plaza. That's going to be a good time. Saturday night action against the Coyotes. And we're going to be at the bar. It's going to be a Jesper Bratt-themed night. Brat Pack on Twitter will be there. And it's going to be a good time. November 12th. I know some people have been DMing me. We are going to try to make more appearances at American Whiskey. It's tough. It's tough. A lot of us have full-time jobs. A lot of us guys have careers. Scotty is SiriusXM, Liquid Metal. My co-host on Devils After Dark. I mean, the guy is working so many hours. I don't know how he makes time for the Let's Go Devils podcast. It's a labor of love. Ramona Rice says, I'm going to be watching, Sam. Yeah, watch us, the live stream, if you can't make it. We love audience participation. Don't know who's going to be our guest. We're going to try to get Jesper Bratt-themed specials at American Whiskey on November 12th. be there or be square. It's going to be a good time. And also, before the Devils take on the Colorado Avalanche, you got to go to American Whiskey. You got to go to you got to go there pregame, postgame. Checking something here, folks. Just want to make sure that I got my schedule right, because I have a feeling sometimes, you come back from a hard day's work. Sometimes you don't know what you're talking about. And I just want to make sure. Colorado right now currently 4-2-1. Devils are 4-3. Devils have won the last 3 out of the last 4. I'm sorry. No, 4 out of the last 5. How about that? After starting 0-2 in the season. Marino is kind of a Niedermeyer type guy, says Anthony LaPena. All right, I'm thinking like a poor man's Brian Rafalski, but you know what? You're entitled to your opinion, Anthony, and that's what we do on this podcast. Opinions. Want to get your opinion. I don't want to say my opinion counts and yours doesn't. That wouldn't make a great podcast. But I think Jesper Bratt is the man of the hour right now. He is looking good. He is looking confident, poised. Kind of like somewhat when Palat was leading the team back when they were down. And hopefully the Devils keep that up. Hopefully the New Jersey Devils will win. And how would you feel about the team? But like I said, there's no time to pat yourself on the back. This is a long season. And we've been burnt before when they start off hot after 15 games. Or I wouldn't say hot, but looking pretty good, like they're going to turn the corner. But we saw what happened against the Capitals, where they revert back to old habits, bad habits, and back to the pathetic losing. And we have a lot of we've been traumatized by it as Devils fans the last 10 years. But not anymore. The Devils have to turn that corner. They got to make a statement. And that's why tomorrow's going to be the big test, or Friday night is going to be the big test against the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to have Let's Go Devils podcast game day live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and Devils After Dark after the game. Bachagalup is saying Brat, hashtag Brat for a Hart Trophy. It's spelled H-A-R-T, not H-E-A-R-T. Bachagalup. But we get the picture. All the young players scored, says Ramona Rice. Matt Junior says, hey, guys. Steve Tardas says the Rangers' depth much thinner. They dressed VC last night. Steve Tardas says Halak played last game. Doesn't matter. Golan on the hot seat. Yeah. And my predictions, I think the Devils are going to win tomorrow. But I'll give you the final score. Still trying to figure out this whole betting with betstamp.app. We'll let you know. All right, folks. Dropping the podcast at midnight for your morning commute. But keep it here. Keep it here. Because this is where the party's at the Let's Go Devils podcast and Woo Report. Can't wait for Devils After Dark tomorrow. Get that reaction from you, the fans. Just remember to go to American Whiskey before the game. I want to thank all those listening, tuning in. Until next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go Devils.